I uploaded a video on Bart Sibrel stating how he's an insider. And basically what took place with all these astronauts, as you can see here, going through all these photos. Here's Buzz Aldrin and the others. Here's Alan Bean, who passed away approximately last year. Basically all set up. This was nothing more than an episode of Punk'd passed off as real, with Bart Sibrel basically hired by the elite to confront all these astronauts. People behind the scenes, basically they are psychopaths. And all these supposed astronauts never going into space. They don't deserve any type of glory. They achieved nothing. They've done nothing. They're just faces people throughout the world believe went to space, when they've never been further into space than anybody else. And that's aboard an airplane. That's about it. That's the highest they've ever been up, just like all other citizens of this world. Now, I came across this. I didn't see this before. Bart Sibrel on Fox News Chicago. During this interview, he's flashing the 666 hand sign. Let me play a little portion here. And basically, they're promoting him. I'll play the video clip. It's only about 40 seconds long. Then I'll play my previous video. And you'll see without a shadow of a doubt again, they're allowing him on TV. Nobody makes it on TV unless you're part of the world stage. It's that simple. He's definitely part of it. But I find it, again, hilarious. Either way, with Bart Sibrel being part of the rigged reality, how he punked all these astronauts. So even though he's, on the inside, I still enjoy what he did with all these astronauts. These people that, again, never been in space, just a bunch of deceivers. And I find it hilarious how basically the elite used him to punk all the astronauts. All explained in my previous video. But again, I'll play the clip from Fox News Chicago, and then you'll see my previous video after that.
The Apollo 11 expedition was a hoax, and that Neil Armstrong never came close to stepping foot on the moon's surface.
Bart Sibrel is a former NBC journalist who spent years researching these claims and has himself joined the Club of Skeptics, a senior consultant of a documentary that airs tonight on Fox. He joins us in the studio this morning. Good morning. Good to have you here.
Morning.
Now, the special that we're going to run tonight on Fox is a repeat of something that it had once before, and it really was a very popular one. And it's got a lot of people asking questions. I have to tell you, though, I find this very difficult to believe. How can you convince me that this didn't really happen?
Well, I can say check out moonmovie.com and order a copy of our documentary, which is called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon.
This is the Sun Sentinel. Talking about coded news stories, let's take a look down here, which I find interesting, where it states, talking about the astronauts, the three men spent a record 33 hours on the moon's surface. You get the 3, and you get the 33. Of course, 33, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, like I pointed out in pretty much every video. Again, 3 and 33. This is coded for 666. And also, of course, 33 is their hoax code. Now, since I'm on topic with the astronauts, I covered this issue before with the astronauts gone wild, with Bart Sibrel interviewing all these astronauts. Something doesn't add up with all this. He was able to enter the homes of all these astronauts that really never give interviews. I shouldn't say never, but rarely. He was able to enter every single one of these astronauts' homes. As you can see here, Alan Bean, Eugene Cernan. Just doesn't seem right. I mean, you have one meeting with an astronaut, and you try to expose them and videotape it. Wouldn't you warn your buddy, your fellow astronauts about this? Why didn't anybody speak up and say, hey, there's this guy named Bart Sibrel going around, confronting us, blindsiding us, stating we didn't go to the moon. So I find that very interesting. And I have a theory about Bart Sibrel. I believe he's connected with someone within. Basically, this is an episode of Punk'd. Just like with Ashton Kutcher. He was put up to this. He's well connected, and he was told, basically, You know, those on the inside contacted the astronauts saying, hey, we got this guy that wants to interview you. How else can you get all these interviews? I just don't see any other way. And why, again, none of these astronauts contacted each other and warned their fellow astronauts about this. Something about this isn't right. I'm not buying it for a second. I'm not exactly sure what's taking place on the inside. Definitely something taking place. Well, let's take a look again at some footage as I covered before with Astronauts Gone Wild. Just take a look.
On this, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because I won't pursue this. All of this attempt to say the Apollo programs were fake is just sheer nonsense. And you can talk till hell freezes over, and you're wrong. Okay.
Well, would you affirm,
I won't continue on this line.
Would you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
You bet your sweet ass.
Okay. Put your left hand on the Bible. Put your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. And say, I, Edgar Mitchell,
Edgar Mitchell,
affirm, under penalty of eternal damnation.
I don't believe in that, but
If you
penalty of eternal damnation,
that I walked on the moon on Apollo 14.
Just says he doesn't believe in the Bible, doesn't believe in hell. That's what he's saying. So basically, this doesn't mean anything to him. Like I said, this is an episode of Punk'd. You know, the reactions seem pretty legit. So again, those behind the scenes, they set up these astronauts. It's a big joke on them. With Bart Sibrel, this is my opinion of what's taking place here. Because they couldn't basically script these guys, you know, to be actors and play this out. I think, again, these are real reactions. And you can't fake real, and that's what's taking place. You know, at first, you know, I made a video on this, and I thought maybe this was all fabricated. You know, but again, some real reactions taking place here. They're caught off guard. Let's continue with the video.
that I walked on the moon on Apollo 14.
Well, you know, you're the first astronaut to do that. We asked 6 other astronauts to swear on the Bible, and they refused to do it.
Well, I don't particularly like to take oaths like that either, because I don't accept the Bible as the gospel of anything except a historical record. But we did go to the moon. You bet your sweet ass we went to the moon. Okay, turn off the camera. Your interview is done. I've given you all the time that I'll give you.
Okie dokie. Good to meet you.
I don't say it's a pleasure.
I understand.
Please get your ass out of my house.
Okay.
And you came here under false pretenses, and I think you're an asshole. Well, and if you continue this, and if you press us, I will personally take you to court.
I hope that you do. I invite you to. I'm going to give you my card so you can arrange that. And I'm encouraging you to arrange.
You're frankly not worth it.
No, we have you on the record saying you'll take me to court. I hope you do. Because we have proof that we're proven in a court of law that Apollo 11 didn't go to the moon. And I think it's something that you should see. I don't say that lightly, believe me. I don't say it lightly.
You have joking, sir. People can have fun. And maybe do that if they feel like they want to have a little fun on a trip to the moon. As an independent producer,
okay, we're heading out.
Doing that is against moral ethics.
Lying about going to the moon is a satanic lie of gigantic proportions.
I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get...
I'm heading out.
So again, right here, he's pretty angry. I don't think he's acting at all.
I appreciate it.
And get the hell out of my house.
Should we get done and shoot them out before they get out of the office?
We have a video camera running if you want to do it.
Right.
That'd be great footage for us.
Now this part coming up, like I said in my previous videos, on Astronauts Gone Wild, you can hear the sun speak clearly. This is something I don't understand. Maybe after this was all said and done, I don't know, possibly Bart Sibrel told him, hey, this is basically, we're put up to this, and they worked on this together to get that audio, and who knows, it's just a theory. But again, I can't say enough, things just are not adding up. Just take a listen, and you can clearly hear the son's voice. He makes a threat about calling the CIA and having these guys waxed out.
See you later. In court, I hope.
Want to call the CIA? Have them whacked?
Again, how do they get that audio? These guys are on their way out of here. They've got their cameras. They've got their bags packed. How did they get this audio? You saw the sun. He was all the way at the deck. Let me just try to back up here. Now again, take a look at the sun here. I'm going to play this in a second. Again, I don't understand how they got the audio when they're already in the car, about to leave, and the sun is all the way at the deck area.
We have a video camera running if you...
Sun's all the way over here.
See you later. In court, I hope.
Want to call the CIA? Have a what?
Makes no sense whatsoever. Just doesn't pass the smell test. Well, on the subject of astronauts gone wild, let's take a look at this clip. Supposedly the last man on the moon, Eugene Cernan. Let's play the audio. Play this clip here. We can take a look. Just see how nervous he is. I mean, this man is sweating.
Be 300-400 miles. I don't know exactly how far out the radiation Van Allen belt is. It didn't seem to bother us very much.
Did you see shooting stars? Did you see the shooting stars?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
But
bottom line is, before I get to Alan Bean, the bottom line is, you know, if you watch the whole video, I'm not going to play the whole thing. You know, these people, these astronauts, so-called astronauts, they're not on the same page. You know, their stories are inconsistent. This is why they didn't give many interviews. And again, the only reason Bart Sibrel, in my opinion, got these interviews, somehow someone in the inside set this up. Like I said many times, like an episode of Punk with Ashton Kutcher. Now let's take a look at Alan Bean here. What I find interesting, as people know that are awake, these astronauts have never been in space. And it states here, time in space, 69 days. So this is again the occult, like I mentioned before. The cult of 69, as above, so below. Now let's take a listen to what Alan Bean has to say here during his interview. Again, Bart Sibrel at his house.
Any ill effects from the Van Allen radiation belt?
No, now I'm not sure we went far enough out to encounter the Van Allen radiation belt.
Find it very interesting. These astronauts seem not very knowledgeable. You know, Bart Sibrel seems, if you listen to the interview, Bart Sibrel seems so much more knowledgeable about space than any of these astronauts. It's a complete joke. These men were supposedly selected to go into space. But again, of course they've never been in space. Just, you know, just Freemasons playing the role. All liars, all frauds. This is why they get so upset. Take a listen here at the very end of this interview. He basically snaps on Bart Sibrel.
Be a lie, that's all.
Would you swear to on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
I'm not going to do it because I'll do it over here. I won't do it on your camera.
Well, why not?
Because it just isn't an appropriate thing to do.
Well,
but you're an asshole to do that. You're the same guys, just different guys as you did the other person I told you about.
Well, would you put your hand on, if you walked on the moon, here's the opportunity to set the record straight.
Okay.
Put your left hand on the Bible.
Left hand.
Raise your right hand.
Okay.
And you realize this can be used as a video deposition in the future. And if you lie, you'll be guilty of perjury.
I understand that.
Okay. Say your name.
My name is Alan Bean.
I swear to God and affirm.
I swear to God and affirm.
Under penalty of perjury.
Under penalty of perjury.
Treason.
Treason? No, not treason. Treason has nothing to do with it. Let me rephrase this and say, I've got my hand on the Bible. I went to the moon. I walked on the moon. All the other people that you think are people that NASA says went to the moon and walked on the moon.
But you won't.
Did go to the moon and walk on the moon.
You won't say under penalty of treason.
What's treason?
That's doing something fraudulent to the taxpayers.
That's crap.
Well, what
that
about
isn't treason?
Under penalty of eternal damnation?
Why is he concerned about it if he didn't, you know, do anything wrong? He seems very concerned. Like he's so guilty the way he's acting. You know, continue.
Under penalty of eternal damnation.
And under penalty of treason.
Treason is when you sell out your country.
Well, if you used $135 billion to not go to the moon. That's
still not treason. Treason is if you tell...
He's worried. He's definitely worried. He knows he's busted, and he's trying to like, no, I didn't commit treason.
Secrets to another thing. I've said enough. Now, you can use that and say, well, you didn't say something else.
No.
I know how people are. It's okay.
Well,
take your stuff and get the fuck out.
I've asked 6 other astronauts if they would swear on the Bible, and they refused to do it. Neil Armstrong refused to do it.
6 other astronauts he already asked prior to Alan Bean. And none of those 6 contacted Alan Bean and said, hey, watch out for this guy, Bart Sibrel. Don't do an interview with them. This is a red flag. You know, this is something, again, don't know exactly the circumstances, how it was set up behind the scenes, but this doesn't add up.
He just thinks, I know that. I know they do.
Now, do you believe in God?
Do I?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Doesn't sound too confident. Of course, these Freemasons, they're all Satanists.
I wouldn't swear on the Bible if I didn't believe it.
Sure.
But it doesn't make any difference. You'll change it like you want. Take your stuff and go, guys. Why don't you?
Well, I know for a fact he didn't walk on the moon. I've seen
That's
the
fine.
footage.
That's fine. It's okay if you know it. Do you understand that? You can have any opinion you want. That's what's wonderful about this country. You can believe anything you want. And it's okay with me, for sure.
Right.
Get your stuff and go.
Okay.
Find this whole entire series very interesting nonetheless. You know, whatever took place behind the scenes, like I said. Again, how did Bart Sibrel conduct all these interviews? I can't stress that enough. How did he get in the inside when so few have been able to? Definitely connected to the inside.